Hey guys, happy fabulous Friday. I hope you're doing well. I am so happy. We have a long weekend. I had totally forgotten it was what's the word? I totally forgotten it was Memorial Day weekend until just, I think it was Wednesday before I realized I had the long weekend. That's how much I was paying attention to my calendar, you know? It's so funny. I'm trying to get it live so I can see what I'm doing at the same time that I talk. Why? Oh, there it is. No? Come on. That's weird. Hold on, it says it's live, but it's not showing it to me, so maybe it's not. Let's see, maybe it's just a little stuck. It says it's live. Oh, yeah, it's showing it. Okay. So maybe it was just me. There we go. Okay. It was just stuck. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. So I saw that it was live. So I wanted to show you, you know how much I love this stamp set because obviously it's made for me as a huge Princess Disney fan. I just can't get enough of, Disney princesses and stuff. You know, that's my favorite thing. Oh, the lights off. It's so dark. My window is really bright, but my window is really bright, so I'm thinking the light's on. So I wanted to show you a no-waste card using some Cinderella paper. It's essentially my big thing. When I saw the Countryside Inn paper, all the colors of it immediately make me think of Cinderella. And I love Night of Navy, which is this background blue. So I got a sample of it from a paper share. My friend Candy does paper shares, and I don't do them, but my friend does. And, oh man, you know, like some of this paper, I love it because I get a little bit of everything just so I can see what it's like. And that way I can try out some of the papers. So I love the colors in this. So this is Misty Moonlight, is this lighter blue. And then this, I believe, is Tahitian Tide. I don't think it's Balmy Blue. Part of me thinks it's Tahitian Tide. It actually could be Balmy Blue. But, it's not Pool Party. But I'm tempted to say it would be, but so pretty, right? And look at the little animals, so cute. And to me, it just screams Cinderella because of the blues. And then this one's fun with the little bunnies. Almost like a Peter Rabbit. So sweet, right? And then the back side of the paper is pretty too. Really good neutrals. So good designs on the neutrals. And so, you see? And so really good neutrals. The thing is, when I get these little 6x6, oh, this one has cute little dots on it. The thing about the 6x6 is that, you know, you're not really sure, you don't want to waste your paper. And I only have one sheet of each piece of paper. And so that's part of the paper share, is you just get a sampling of each paper. And so my friend Candy does these paper shares, and I'm always happy to participate in hers because I don't do them myself in my business, but I love that she does, and she's done so well, you know, with them, and I think about it. So there was this particular paper that was screaming the birds from Cinderella to me, you know, so pretty, right? And so, and then the back side has these stripes. But when it's a 6x6 sheet, sometimes you're not really sure what to do. So I love making a no waste card. So I literally took my 6x6 sheet, and the good thing is remember, they're in 12 by 12 sheets. So we either sell our paper usually in 6x6 or 12 by 12. So it's very easy to make several cards. So I can either make a whole bunch, make 8 of the bigger cards, or I can make, oh, I guess this would still be 8. No, this would be, I think, 2, 4. No, I guess this would still be 8. I guess it's 6 of this size. But anyways, my bad. Too much math. Okay, but see, what you do is you take your 6x6 paper and you cut it at 3 3/4. Whoops. That should say 3/4. 3 3/4 by 5 inches. Okay, and then this is 2 1/4 inches left over. But the key, and then when you're trimming off the bottom, you see when you've trimmed off the bottom, you have these little pieces. Well, that's why I wanted to show you how I can make 2 cards in one go without too much effort or extra stuff, and just keep it real simple and basic. This label happens to be from a paper pumpkin, and I'm just going to use it because, you know, waste not, want not, so might as well. So you see how I'm using the Tahitian Tide? Technically, I think this is probably, you know, oh, you know what this color is? This is Azure Afternoon, which I don't have yet, but it is a cousin of this Tahitian Tide, so it goes really well. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to layer it like this. And so you see how when I cut my paper, I'll show you my whole 6x6 all together. I cut it for myself already so that I had, you know, just for ease of the video. But you see how that's a 6x6 piece, and I've cut it to where I can now make 2 cards. And I'll show you how I make the second card here in a minute. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue this down. It's not a complicated card, but I love not wasting my paper. I love to use every scrap of paper I can, but I don't always want a full face card. And you know, if my paper is cut in 6x6, I'm not going to get 2 card fronts. So what do I do then? Well, I'm going to use up the rest so that I still have my my piece. So I decided to use this extra scrap. Now you can use this extra scrap on the inside of your card like that, or I like using it here. I'm thinking I want to use it here, and let's see what my label looks like. Maybe, let's see, I want to use this ribbon here with it. See, I was thinking I would put it here and then put my ribbon across this here. And then I was thinking I'd put my label. I think that's a good look. Or I can put it like that and put my label here without the gray. Ooh, that actually, I kind of like this a little bit better. Again, I could have laid it across like this, which would be just fine, but I don't think I'm going to do that this time because I really want to showcase all the birds. So I'm going to save this and I'm going to put it on the inside because I love that. And I'm going to go ahead and put this across the bottom. I don't have a sample because I only had the one sheet of 6x6. So that's why I went ahead and just designed it. And so I'm going to put it right here. Get some tape on it. Whoopsie. I almost lost my... We're going to do a little bit of stamping, but not enough. Yeah, Azure Afternoon, I believe that's called, for the extra... for that blue. It's a cousin of this Tahitian Tide. And this is the double-stitched ribbon. Double-stitched ribbon. And this is technically... what's the word? Balmy blue, but it still looks perfect. You know what I mean? Look at how, even though it's not exactly, it's still picking up these shades. You know, it's still picking up the darkness of these, so it still matches. I love it. And so let me go ahead and put this on the inside of my card, glue this down. And I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna, so we'll put this in the bottom corner. I loved a surprise. You know how I love a surprise on the inside of my card. It's like my favorite thing. So let's go ahead and glue this on the inside of my card. So my cards aren't complicated today, but I love a no waste card. And I remembered I was debating yesterday what I was going to do. Like, how am I going to make a card for today? I don't want to make another crown card because, you know, I made one on Monday, you know, so what am I going to do? So I think about my designs. I try to plan them as far ahead as I can, but sometimes I'm not sure. So I don't know if I want to glue that down or if I want to pop it up. I think I do want to glue it down. So we'll go ahead and we'll glue that down. It's all, whoops. So that's our card front. And then we're going to stamp our label. Well, actually, I'll make both card fronts and then I'll do the labels last, just so that we get that out of the way. And then I just have the ink one time. And then we have that other piece that I was telling you about. Well, I'm taking the same concept, except I'm putting the layer is just a partial layer. So this is 2 1/4. So this piece here is 2 1/2 by 5 1/4. Okay, so I'm gluing this down onto this layer. So it's the same concept, but with the little scrap here. These I tend to throw away because what am I going to do with that little rectangle? It's so small, you know, how can I use it? I'm not a scrapbooker, so I can't always think of how this would be used, you know, and some people are very good at using them with cards. I'm not always that great with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to layer it across, I think, or do I want it here? Actually, I think I'm going to, I love these big birds, so I think I'm going to cover, no, I think down here, okay. So, because I love this area, this thistles and stuff. So let me go ahead and glue this down here. And it comes right to the edge, remember, because it was a scrap. Then, whoops, that's why I like using the wet glue, because I shifted it, but now I can straighten it back. Then we're going to take our blue ribbon again, and we're just going to shift it across. So we're still using that blue ribbon, but we're just putting it across this. I love how it frames perfectly in that little piece. And how I came up with this card is I was going back to a class that I had offered a year ago, and it might have been 2 years ago. No, maybe a year. Anyway, so I offered a class about a year ago, and that class was, I'm going to have it for sale in my BOGO, by the way, in a few weeks. I'm going to have a BOGO sale, and I'll have one of these classes for sale that I'm talking about. And it's a no waste card. And what I did is I maximized all the paper so that everyone got the maximum amount of paper. So here we go. So we've got this perfect, right? Then we'll make our labels in one go because I want to keep the same label basically. So that's our basic card front. Now for our label, remember, there are lots of different labels you can use of any kind. I just wanted to use something that I already had on hand. I don't have any new dies, and a lot of my favorite punches retired. So I'm missing some of the newer stuff. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to use this sparkle piece. This is like from the fairy godmother essentially, because this makes a wand. These sticks here and this star together make a wand. And so I want to use this as a background image. So when you do that, I'm going to use my scrap of paper here. This one's getting well worn. Try not to throw it out until I know I've used it all the way up. So what we're going to do is we're going to stamp it with the Tahitian Tide, and that way we can get the right colors. And I'm going to stamp it a couple times so I can see 1, 2. Yeah, see, I want this faded look. I don't want it to be too bright because I don't want it to compete with the sentiment that we're going to be stamping on. So let's go ahead and we'll stamp off. Let me ink it up. Let me stamp it down. And you just lightly tap it. And I think I'm going to go like this. And there we go. So there we get our sparkle on there. And it just looks like a pretty little sparkly gem. Let me go this way on this one just to see if I like it better. And so it's faded, but it's just enough of a hint so you can see it. And I think we're done with that one, but we'll see. We might use that again. And then I'm using the navy to stamp our sentiment. So our sentiment is thanks for fixing my crown. And I think I want it off to the side because I want to be able to see those sparkles. So I'm using Night of Navy, which almost comes out as like a black. Okay, I have to put something dark underneath. So when you're stamping on the white, sometimes you need a different color so you can see what you're stamping on. There we go. And this one I'll stamp to the side here. And remember, these labels are just from a paper pumpkin. That's it. They're just a scrap. So whatever label you want to use, I could have even used a straight piece of cardstock. I just, you know, I went into my stash and I grabbed what I had. So I've got thanks for fixing my crown. So when we put this on, I feel like I need a little something. So I either can do the star. Let's see. We can either do the little, oh, I think I might be using that. Yeah, I don't know if I want to use the star. Maybe on the inside. I don't think I'll use the, I don't think I'm going to use the big star. I think I'm going to use the small one. So let me clean it off really quick, but I'm going to use Tahitian Tide. Oopsie. There we go. Okay. And so let's see. Yeah, I like that. So we're going to go ahead and put just a couple of these little sunburst star kind of twinkle things. And they just add to that little bit of magic. Okay, then I've got a couple. Oh, and then on the inside of our cards, let's see, we didn't do anything with the inside before I put away our paper. Oh, I did do the inside of that one. So I think I'll do a couple of these on the inside of this card too. Now the Countryside Inn paper is just gorgeous, but it also pairs with a really cool large stamp set. Not stamp set, just a really cool large stamp that's like a frame. It's so neat. I really want to get it because I think it'd be useful. It's a really good background stamp, like good for framing things. I'll have to show you some of my samples when, maybe I'll do that tomorrow. Get on and do a little spare video. And I also need to do a little card parade with all the cards that I got from that when my card was featured. So let's see. So we've got, let's see, where do I want this? Do I want this here? I think I want this up to the side. I don't know if I want it covering my ribbon, but maybe. Let's see. Yeah, because I like the birds. Yeah, okay. I have to think things out a little. This is what happens when I'm designing. So this is what it's like. I'm just kind of talk to myself and keep going back and forth like, I don't know, do I like it there? Do I like it there? Oh, and then I want to add some rhinestones. So before I put everything together, so I mean, pretty quick, right? Considering I made 2 cards. I'm only 20 minutes in and I was a little bit late because I couldn't get the video to open with you guys. So, What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a couple of the rhinestones to the center of my little starbursts, or magic fairy dust, or whatever you want to call it. So cute. Oopsie. There we go. Done. So I've got that. Now let's put our dimensionals in the back. Now, on this one, see, so this was we had a paper, I think it might even be in our past kits. We had the Hope kit from Stampin' Up, which was so cute. It was such a pretty, pretty kit, and we had it during the pandemic, and it was just perfect. It was interesting. It's very poignant that it came out at the time the pandemic was hitting, considering how, you know, hard everything was for everybody. So, all right, I made sure these were spaced pretty wide apart so that I can make sure it goes over the ribbon. I don't want it on top of the ribbon. I want it on the sides of the ribbon. There we go. There we go. There's that one done. And this one, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to put it to where it's going to be on the sides of the ribbon. You don't want it right on top. You want that ribbon to go right on through. Okay. And so I mean, it's cool that I can pair. I almost used the Fabulous stamp again, but like I said, I wanted to show you something a little different. Cinderella's on my brain. This reminds me so much of the Cinderella live action movie, this paper, because remember how rich her dress was? I mean, it was still blue, but the coloring of everything was like so midnight, and everything had like a midnight blue around it. And then her dress was like this, it was almost like Tahitian Tide in a way. It was a little darker. But yeah, so those are our cards. That's it. Quick and easy. And the paper that I used, you guys, was the Countryside Inn. And the number is 161467. And you can get it at fabulousstamper.com. You can go ahead and use, for the next few days, you can use this host code at fabulousstamper.com. Or you can just go to fabulousstamper.com and click on shop and shop that way. It's just, I appreciate the host code if you can, but if not, don't worry. So yeah, the Countryside Inn is the name of the paper. And it's really pretty, just such pretty rich colors. And I mean, I don't know, I always see things with Disney eyes. I can't help it. I'm always thinking in Disney ways. And so here's the inside of that one, and then the inside of that one. So I didn't waste any paper, even the cardstock, you know what I mean? Like I had a scrap of this Tahitian Tide, and that's how I made this one. This is 2.5 by 5 inches, 5.25 inches. And then this, remember, I used this layering, and this is the standard layering of 4 inches by 5.25, and then this is 3 3/4 by 5 inches for this larger piece. But see, I cut my 6 by 6 this way, and that way I'm not wasting any paper when I'm making my cards. So I had enough left over to make one of these cute ones. And you don't always need to cover your whole card front. Look at how pretty this looks with half of it just showing the navy underneath. I mean, both are really cute. It just is a different way to look at it. And so there you go. And I'll hold it up a little closer so you can see the labels. And see how the little magic dust is swirled around, because I did a second stamping off, and so it looks pretty, right? So thanks for tuning in, you guys. I really appreciate it. I am super grateful that you guys tuned in, and yeah, thanks so much. All right, well, you have a great day, and I will talk to you guys soon. All right, thanks. Bye.